Oh, okay. Hi. So last stream I did, I have an explanation at the description, but I'm still going to say an explanation. So after I finished it, had everything set. It was still uploading like in the morning, which it didn't at all because I was like watching something on my other YouTube channel, on my personal, and yeah, I pressed delete upload because I was thinking in my head, it's still gonna upload, right? Because that's what my last one did when it was taking that long. No, it deleted the whole thing, but that's okay. I'll spoke it off camera because I don't want this to get flagged or anything. Um, but okay, let's get into it. Because I've been itching. I've been itching to get a message out. I was just thinking a lot today. I've been really tired. Um, and I don't know. It's just been a whole coinky dink. So let's just see what we get and kind of go from there. So we have below, and blood is thicker than water. That is the fake quote. The real quote is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. And that's interesting because I was talking about this earlier with a coworker, and I said the quote right, but I kind of second guessed myself because I was like, um, I think I was just getting the two quotes confused, and I don't know. It was like I was getting myself confused. And as you can see, I underlined it blood and covenant. Like those are the two main things that we talk about when it comes to family. And I think like when it comes to family, what do you think family is? Because family is not just blood. I don't think that family is just blood because if family was just blood, then we wouldn't have those people that we just don't want in our life that are blood. You get what I'm saying? Like, or family wouldn't like be like how some covenants are, or I don't want to say covenants. I want to say how some people are when you have friends and it just doesn't end up working out. I think it's kind of like that because anybody can be family, but it's how they make you feel that makes them family. So if they make you feel good, then you consider them family, then yeah, you know. So you have malfunction, denial, victim, heart, let it go, mythology, unscathed, and cheese. I want to start with this cheese card. On the back has holding on. So, especially when I say let it go, like in conjunction to it. Um, and before I even get started, I want to talk about who was the word I used in the last reading, but I didn't know the meaning, and then I used it again today, and I kind of got the meaning because I used it in my own personal sense, you know. I'll get to it. It'll pop up again, but you know. It'll definitely pop up again. I hope there's no smoke coming in. Okay, no smoke. I don't want to get flagged or anything. Get like, you know. And honestly speaking, 90-year-old body, we shouldn't even be smoking, but you know, I feel like some addictions, but I don't really want to say addictions, but you know, bad habits. Let's say that bad habits. Some bad habits can be changed, but some of them are just temporary in the moment, and that's what I feel about this. This is temporary in the moment because other ways of dealing with stress don't really get me unstressed, you know. But I really think it. I think it's just more so how you deal with the stress that's going to help, or facing it head on, you know? Like, if this causes me stress, what can I do about it? And that's funny because I'm going to get to the reading, I swear. But I have a point. I have a point. So, um, earlier in the day, I was talking about to myself, like, you know, because I'm not being spoken to in the way that I feel I needed to be, which is like the right pronouns, the right name. What can I do about that? It's about any situation that you feel that isn't connecting for you. What can you do about that? And if they refuse to get with the program, then it's like you shouldn't make up excuses for that, you know? I feel like anybody can change, but it's up to them to make that change. So, especially when it comes to the newer generation, our identities, despite what people say, oh, there, well, back in your day, there wasn't any medical advancements that like there are to this point. Back in your day, it was different medical. And I get what this is, victimhood. You have to deal with victimhood in some way. Are you going to let yourself continue to be the victim? Or are you going to move on? And that's what let it go is. That's what cheese is for. That's what holding on is. You're holding on to this victimhood. And I'm even saying this to myself. You're holding on to victimhood that doesn't suit you. And on the back, the victim is savior complex. A lot of people have a savior complex, which is like if they feel mistreated, they feel that they have to do, or like not even mistreated. I feel like it has a lot to do with helping others, but in a way of where it's like more destructive towards you. You're helping others not only because you want to help them, but because you feel the need to, when in reality is not everyone wants to be saved. And this is interesting because a video I watched about Garfield, you know, Beast Boy, he was depressed, and there were all these people, like the heroes and stuff, that were talking to him and saying, They need him back to how he was with heart and how he wasn't depressed. But depression doesn't work like that. You can't just snap out of it and be out of this trance, you know? Depression is a state of mind that kind of wears you down as you go, especially if it's piled on over and over again. And always being in this mode of where you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes depression gets so bad that we get into those dark thoughts and we can't snap out of them. And no matter what other people say, we're just like, we can't do this. We just want to be alone. Malfunction, malnutrition. This has been coming up a lot. And I feel that it has a lot to do with, making sure smoke doesn't get in here. It has a lot to do with how we were always, like how black sheep of the families were raised to, and treated like they had something that was wrong with them. But it wasn't anything wrong with them. It was just the people around them just didn't understand them. And you can't force people to understand you. This especially goes with the savior complex. You can't force change in other people. You can't force change in things that you can't control, you know? So what can you do about it? You can let it go. You can move on about your day. You can find peace within yourself. You can find peace within yourself. With mythology and transcend, I feel like the same way that the card in the dark mirror was poison. You could see that it probably is Snow White, or, you know, what the book said, it was probably Snow White or and the Wicked Witch. But it's how you view it, because you don't have to be alone in a sense of feeling like you're giving your all but nothing is changing. What could change is you and how you put your efforts into other people, because like it is, blood is not thicker than water. It's who you feel at home with, who you feel at peace with, that is going to bring you to that next level. Because if you're constantly around the same shit, it's not going to feed you in a way that is going to open your heart space. And I feel like heart, Akashic records, maybe you can look into your Akashic records, which is like a whole line of things. Like, you know how in Loki, I like the series, but it's just some parts of it that kind of threw me off. But and if you know, you know. But in that series, they had a whole book of everything that Loki was saying, and even after what he was saying was in the book. So it's like, that's how the Akashic records are. They're a list of things that you have said and done, not only in this life, but in past lives, you know? And I feel like in the grand scheme of things, you can't hold on to what you're in denial about, you know? Denial and grief. You can't just keep holding on to, and also these are part of the 5 stages. Like denial and grief are part of the 5 stages of grief. You can't keep holding on to it. You can't keep denying yourself the nutrition that you need, that is going to get you to being at this happy place, you know? Cheese. As an exclamation point, like cheese. Say cheese for the camera, you know? What's going to lead you into your happiest self, your happier self, your happiest purpose? unscathed and clarity. I feel that you have needed a lot of clarity. Hey, sure. I feel like you have needed a lot of clarity when it comes to who you are becoming, because when you don't see that you have a light within you, or that you don't see that you have this golden heart that is just surrounded by dust, then you're not going to see the good that's within you. That especially goes hand in hand with depression. And it's like, I'm not a psychologist, but I have dealt with depression for the longest time, and I always thought there was something wrong with me, like there was some sort of disconnect, when yeah, it does have to do with the chemical in your brain, but at the same time it's also a buildup of trauma, and that's just been packed, just stacking up, you know. And when it comes to coming out of that depressive state, it's kind of hard, especially when you've been so used to it for the longest time. So what can you do? You can choose to go towards your dream and make it out of this. Get that clarity that it's time to let go of this victimhood, this victim mentality. Or you can stay in denial about what you want most. You can stay in denial about being in this victimhood. Find peace within yourself. As above, so below, you know, with the ego and shadow. So again, with the emanations, in the dark mirror. I'll probably be reading from both books, but you know, it's really on the depending stage, because if I feel called to read it, then I will. I think when it comes to feeding yourself when you're malnourished, it really has a lot to do with not only just foods, it's also dealing with thoughts. How you, the energy that you feed yourself. Because I think that a lot of us have issues with the positive talk. And positivity has a lot to do with having that confidence within yourself to tell yourself that, hey, this isn't right. How am I going to change this? And I said that again. So how are you going to change this? You're going to look yourself in that mirror and be like, hey, person, you're awesome. You know, have that confidence to say to yourself that you don't need the validation of others. You have the validation of yourself. And it can get discouraging, especially when you're trying your best to be the person you know you can be, but it's like you're struggling at the same time. Okay. So on the back you have the Angel of Death. Azrael. You have Israfel, Angel of Song. You have Raziel, Angel of Mysteries. Cushiel, Angel of Punishment. Gevura, Left Hand, Angel of Judgment. I really want to start with Cushiel. And when I first got this deck, they used to strike so much fear in me because since I was always in this mode of I'm always doing something bad, so it's like I get punished for it. But the thing is, when you're told you're always bad and you're told you're always doing something bad, you're going to feel like you are becoming that way despite the circumstances. And I think that a lot of people can get worried about the karma of others, but their karma has nothing to do with you. And I'm thinking of this song that I started on, but I didn't finish, but I'm gonna share parts of it. The chorus was, evil's the only thing you know. The goddess divine, the ethereal, they're above me, protecting me. So when it comes to those words, whatever you believe in, always know that you are protected. Any circumstances you have, always know that you're protected. Because I feel like we all walk in sight and not feeling. If you get what I mean. Like, we all walk in, we have to see it to believe it. But sometimes it's not always like that. If you know that something is for you, then go for it. If you know that something isn't, and there's always blockages that's stopping you from getting to that point, then it just isn't for you. And I mean this like in like the worst possible blockages. Like, if you're constantly getting sick, if you're constantly feeling like in your gut that I need to get away from here, if you're constantly feeling in your gut, I need to stop doing this, or something isn't right about X, Y, and Z, trust your gut, because you don't have to see it to believe it. And I feel like, especially when we want to give the benefit of the doubt to people that are around us, we kind of have this thought that, oh, maybe it's just me, maybe it's just something wrong with me and I'm just not thinking through it, you know. But that isn't the case. That isn't the case, like, at all. So whatever punishment that they have, that's on them. That has nothing to do with you, because you can't dish out karma. You shouldn't seek revenge, you know. And there's always this inherent fear that someone who's hurt you is going to get a better life. If they do, oh fucking well, you know. I know that it's probably going to hurt to hear that, but even if they do have a better life, right, really think about it. How better is their life? Is it that's going to stop you from getting to your point, from getting to your dream? Are you going to let them have that short, you know, 5 minutes of fame take over your who you are going to be? because it doesn't matter how hidden the truth is, it's always going to come out. It might take a while, but it will always come out. We have the angel song, Israfel. It's like the dawn. Like, what is the fucking, that's that quote? Night before the dawn, dawn before the night. Something like that, but I feel like the light is just above the horizon. It's just a matter of if you're patient enough to wait for that call. I don't mean a literal call. It's going to be something that you feel in your gut. It's like right there. And you see, we transition from Israfel to Raziel, and there's like more light. Like that transition from light over here is just coming over here. And it's more brighter. So you don't need to know everything that's going to happen. You just need to walk like, I know this is for me, so I'm going to continue. And I feel like books might be a really important factor for some of you. Whatever wounds you have that you have began to heal, those wounds are going to teach you that you know better now. You didn't know better before, but now you know better. I just need to look at something real quick, you know. You get out the book. Oh, here he is. So, Kushiel, angel of punishment. The hunter whose prey is falsehood. Oath breakers beware. Kushiel will seek you out. Even as you stalk your own victims, punishment is upon you. No one who escapes the mark of Kushiel. No one who escapes the mark of Kushiel. There are consequences for breaking your word. The pieces sharpen and sink into your flesh, embedding themselves within your heart. So long as the offense stands, you will always be held in the sights of the hunter. Seeking absolution is noble, however tedious. Begin that journey with haste, lest Kushiel finds you. Signs: a spear, a shaft of light, and a raven. And there's another one that I was called to read, which is like literally in the front. Angel of Memory, Zacriel. That was on the front of the deck. I just didn't look at it. I did look at it, but I was like thinking to myself about it. Because I feel like with the let it go and the holding on, I feel like memories are really embedded in you to where they kind of haunt you, in a sense. Zacriel, angel of memory. Eternally lost, Zacriel carelessly winds and unwinds the thread of thought. Memory has no worries or concerns. You are safe to wrap yourself in the bands of time gone by as well. It is warm and safe within the fog of Zacriel. All you knew greets you, welcomes you, and longs for you. The power of remembrance is balanced by the power of forgetfulness. Pouring memory into the cup of forgetfulness makes room for new memory. Zacriel is the angel of all memory, even memory loss. If you take something with you, you must also leave something behind. Signs, a knot, a loom, and a maze. So when it comes to making new memories, you have to lose some memories. And I feel like that's what the letting go and holding on is. You have to let go of the bad in order to welcome the good. All that is to come, that is. So now we are heading into the dark mirror again. I'm hearing this, why do you make it hard for people to get to know you? I feel like it's targeting me with that in a sense, because I do find it hard to let down my barriers because I'm so hyper vigilant. But then again, that comes with the CPTSD, so yeah. It makes sense why, but it's also a matter of how can you combat that? You know? I don't know. And already we have calling the storm. Okay. You have calling the storm, 30, blinded to pain, 13, and black flower fragrance, 16. And on the back of the deck, you have today for tomorrow. Forgetting oneself, 17. I don't know why the fuck I just split that deck like that. And then you have the temple of my body on the back. I feel like this goes hand in hand with denial, blinded to pain. Because we tend to blind ourselves to everything that hurts us, especially when we're so used to having that pain or having our boundaries infiltrated in a way that we haven't grown up properly with them. So if you haven't had a healthy set of boundaries, how can you know what healthy boundaries are? Healthy boundaries can be something that makes you feel like you're not being over intruded about something. And if it's for you to share, then you are able to share it. But if it's like constantly being prodded you know, constantly being asked about. It's like you're not really feeling the safest. Calling the storm. You have the power within you to make this happen. And I don't think the storm means a literal storm, like, obviously, but you have the power to create your own, the own wind beneath your wings. And I feel that we fear so much of being unique that we kind of shut ourselves in. In Black Flower Fragrance, you see that she's holding on to something and there's thorns around her. It's like holding on to something, and it's near her heart too, so it's like you're taking things to heart. When it comes to the reactions of people, you can't be like, oh, it must have been me, I'm the one that's doing something bad. Unless you know for a fact that you've done something and you needed to apologize for it, then this is literally just you thinking that you've done something because you've set something healthy. You set a healthy boundary. It's like when you know that something is wrong, but then it gets turned against you into saying you're the problem, you know? I'm being silent, but that's because I was thinking about a memory. We were just talking about Zachriel. When it comes to replacing those bad memories, it's about the memories that you want to let go of. If you keep holding on to them, they're just going to ruminate in your mind, and then you're just going to feel this resentment build up. And nobody likes to feel that. Unless you're addicted to somehow feeling chaos, which if you grew up in chaos, then that's the only thing that you've been used to, so you don't know how to approach anything that's healthy. It's understandable. You have that power within you to hold yourself to the point of where you're ready to move on. You're ready to let the flowers die in this old yard and plant new ones. You're ready to live your life how you want, how you see fit. I did not know forgetting oneself came right after Black Flower Fragrance. I might have to read that too. Moon stage full. Stage. Moon phase full. Stage anger. The world is unfair. Fuck off their world. Fuck you. A beautiful woman, her face with a hint of resolve, holds a strange black rose on her chest. It seems to explode like a crystal, each petal is an obsidian shard. If we want to go dark, go black. Don't stop to the evening. but embrace the night. Love is not a white dove, nor does it turn people into angels. Love can be ugly, love can be cheap, love can be rotten, but even ugly love has a right to exist. Even cheap love can raise to the sky. Even rotten love has the dignity of eternity. Even a black rose made by any other name should still smell as sweet. Even if you are wrong, you still have the right to be angry. Even if you are not perfect, you have the right to be respected. Even if you are stupid, you have the right to be listened to. Even if you are lucky, you have the right to complain. Even if you are rich, you have the right to be sad. If you cannot shine because you are beautiful, then shine because you are ugly. Shine because you are ugly. Gorgeously black, ugly as love, worn out as an angel, cheap as a crown, unquired as a fragrance in the night. Forgetting oneself, moon phase, waxing gibbous, stage denial. Time is an eternal present, not fleeting, but locked. No progress is no regress either. A naked young man whose curly brown hair is intertwined by a gold and laurel crown. Half a golden mask protects his eyes while the sky around him breaks, ripped to take the shape of a mistletoe branch. Can I read? Eating the lotus flower, numbing our identity to go by the sound of a music that was never ours. A modern Adonis, an ancient Hermes, a grown-up Cupid, shrined by laurel, mirth, and lotus. He is the welcoming allure of the present moment, the warm embrace which numbs us to everything else, like Bacchus's wet kisses. I don't know how to say that. If you let go of pressure and of pain, if you let go enough of your identity and the context you live in, then you will just feel better. It is what happens when you fall asleep, when you take refuge in the arms of a loved one, or when you watch a movie slumped ungraciously on a comfy sofa, on a comfy couch. Is this supposed to be comfy or comfy? I've never heard of comfy. Sorry, let's move on. Sometimes, however, it asks for more. It takes more out of you, more of yourself to be forgotten, to feel just a little better. And maybe the twisted idea that you forgot everything, then you will actually really feel better. Forgetting everything, letting everything go, not just a moment of rest, but as a jump in the darkness. It is like vertigo. You stand on the edge of the precipice, and a little part of yourself wants to jump. But it is a moment of rest, a moment of pause, a moment of uncreative selfishness. So what? Let it be, and sleep soundly. Okay, this is a new deck I have. It's called the SpiritSong. On the back, you have the Three of Feathers. See, this is so funny because in my mind, I was like, there was going to be an extra one, and 4 cards literally just popped out after I just wanted 6. Whew. So starting off, you have the 10 of crystals, 10 of pentacles, 4 shells, 4 cups in reverse, Queen of crystals, Queen of pentacles in reverse, 5 of crystals, 5 of coins, Justice in reverse, Page of crystals, and the King of crystals. There's a lot of pentacles. And the feathers, they're swords. But you have a lot of pentacles or crystals. I'm stemming right now, so yeah. Oh, that's interesting. You have the Queen and King in reverse. Comfort, prosperity, courage, and commitment. I feel like there's something that you want to have commitment to, but you haven't been in the right headspace. I also think that a lot of what you're feeling, it has to do with a lot of added on energy that isn't really making you feel the best right now. It's time for you to branch out. And I mean really branch out, because you started at the King, but now you're going to the Page. So it's starting over again. Because whatever this path you're on right now, it just hasn't worked out for you. And this doesn't have to be like a path of where it's like, oh, we're reaching 50 minutes, goddamn. It doesn't have to be the path that is like, that you know you're destined for. I mean a path in which you know that something isn't going to end well, and you feel it in your gut. So it's time for you to branch out. It's time for you to move away. You have the 10 of Cups on the back of the 3 of Feathers, and you also have the 3 of Crystals. A lot of Pentacles, like I said. You're going to have all that you want. That's already in the plan for you. That's already yours, but you have to be able to go towards with courage and not fear. Stability and attainment. You haven't really made it to that point to where you know this is what you obviously want. You know that this is dead set. soul searching and reevaluation. I kind of spaced out. Sorry about that. But I was really drawn to the water. I think that's a stork. I think so. But you see that this bird is walking through the water. And there's shells around it. And it's not paying attention to the shells at all. It's more so just looking out at the horizon. Or kind of at these leaves that are surrounding it, you know? So maybe there's a need for you to pay less attention to your surroundings and more attention to the goal that you want to reach. Time to get out of your comfort zone. That's really a factor. And the fiber crystals, persistent and new possibilities. You have a ladybug here, so that is that a beetle? I'm pretty sure that's it's one of them. Like, if you can tell which one, please by all means correct me. But with it, ladybugs and beetles are mostly just symbols of good luck, good fortune. How they have been for me, at least. And I love seeing ladybugs. Like, I feel like they're the most beautiful insect. And I'm thinking of this song called Juliet by Cavetown. I hope that she looks at me and thinks, shit, he's so pretty. Something I can't believe. And I feel like this has a lot to do with how you have an image of yourself, and you need to get out of this mode of depression and kind of shift your focus. Even if it's a little bit, just shift it as much as you can. And take that time to do it little by little over time. Make those prompts, journal it out. Talk about your feelings with someone that you trust, or talk with them to yourself. Trust yourself enough to realize that you are doing the best you can. And you have justice, but it was in reverse. Truth and clarity. And it's right under soul searching and reevaluation. Again, there's a need for you to not focus on whether or not somebody is going to get punishment. It's a need for you to focus more on yourself, because as you can see, this raven is looking back. I don't know if that's a raven or not, but you see this bird is looking back. I'm not good at animals, like the different types of species, but you know, I know that a bird when I see a bird, but you know, but it's looking back. But in the deck, it's facing forward towards the Page of Pentacles, which is ideas and discipline. So rearrange your focus. Open yourself up to bigger and better things for yourself. Because I think that the more you are kind of in this back and forth energy of the toe in and toe out, or the shoe in and shoe out, or, you know, whatever that saying is, you're kind of in, but then you're kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If you're constantly in that energy, you're never going to get to the point to where you need to be. So figure out what goals you have and go for it. And you see this fox is literally looking like right directly at like the front. So it's like you have this mind, you have this goal. It's just about getting your way to it. And I think that's all for this reading. That is all for this reading. Yeah. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm definitely going to make sure this one uploads. I don't want to mishap just like last time. And you know, I don't want to have that same mishap. But thank you so much for reading. Keep it juicy in the koozie, and peace the fuck out.